Weimar is a small town in Thüringen, but it's linked to some pretty big names, especially Goethe and Schiller. But the poets aren't the reason for my journey today. It's the Bauhaus era that started 100 years ago.
Walter Gropius, Wassily Kandinsky, Paul Klee and many more. In 1919 they were founding figures of the Bauhaus movement Weimar. Fine art, design and architecture. Bauhaus became a pioneer of modernity. First in Weimar, then in Dessau and Berlin. Next year is the anniversary, 100 years Bauhaus. But I'll take a look at Weimar today.
My first stop in Weimar is the Bauhaus University. It was designed by the architect Henry van der Velde, with bright studios and curved lines. Here, Walter Gropius founded the Bauhaus in 1919, a school of art and design that would revolutionize the shapes and colors of the 20th century.
Hallo.
Architect Thomas Apel takes me on a tour.
Here we have a stairwell that Van der Velde designed with its elliptical curves. It's a very popular photographic subject. People who come here immediately take a picture.
The reputation of the Bauhaus attracted top names like Klee, Kandinsky and Feininger. Architect Walter Gropius spent years developing the artist network.
After World War I, Gropius picked up these contacts he'd made. He came here in 1919 and said, I want to do something completely new, not just architecture and not just applied arts. I want to found the Bauhaus. Artists, artisans and architects should be trained together.
Today, about 4,000 aspiring architects and civil engineers study at the university. Back in the day, there were just 150 masters and students, a small but dedicated community.
Here we have the work of Herbert Bayer, who studied at the Bauhaus. He designed these works for the Bauhaus exhibition in 1923. What's special is that he worked in Kandinsky's class, where red squares and yellow triangles were a theme, combining basic shape with a basic color.
Now the highlight of the tour, the study of Walter Gropius. Sharp lines, straightforward and functional. That was the new Bauhaus style. Shoes off, because as an exception we're allowed to enter the sanctuary. This is the original Gropius room?
This is the original director's room, designed by Walter Gropius for the 1923 Bauhaus exhibition. The exhibition aimed to show the movement's achievements and explain it, to say to people in Weimar and Thüringen, this is our idea and this is what we're working on.
Das ist unsere Idee und daran arbeiten wir.
Can I sit down?
Also wenn Sie, ich glaube, Frau
I want to be Gropius.
The others can't, but you may.
alle nicht, aber Sie können.
No one's watching.
Hier saß er.
So this is where he sat.
Genau.
Aber das Möbel
Making comfortable furniture wasn't that important to him, right? Because I have to say, this isn't a cozy chair.
der typische gemütliche Schreibtisch.
Dieser Schreibtischstuhl.
This desk chair has been reconstructed from sketches and drawings. There's no photo of it. It's not recorded.
Also er ist nicht überliefert.
Gropius actually sat on a chair by Diekmann at this desk. And later, in Dessau, there was a steel tube chair by Marcel Breuer that he used at his desk. This one here is very theoretical. It suits the concept of this room. When you look at the surrounding edge, this all-round border,
Wenn man diese umlaufende Kante sieht, die umlaufende Leiste.
Traces of the Bauhaus are hard to find in Weimar, but they exist. For example, the National Theater. The Constitution of the Weimar Republic was passed here in 1919. There is a plaque to commemorate it. And who made it? Walter Gropius. We continue to the historic cemetery. Like a bolt of lightning, this monument shoots out of the ground. Walter Gropius built it on behalf of the Unions to commemorate the victims of the political turmoil of 1920. The Nazis destroyed the sculpture, but it was later rebuilt, slightly modified. This is Park an der Ilm, where you'll find the Tempelherrenhaus, a neo-Gothic building where Bauhaus master Johannes Itten had his painting studio. It was bombed during World War II and has since stood as a ruin in the park. And finally, the Haus am Horn. It's the very first building built by the Bauhaus in 1923. We can't visit at the moment because it's being prepared for the Bauhaus anniversary in 2019. This building site is where the new Bauhaus Museum will stand. The future director Ulrike Bestgen takes me to have a look. Is the building also Bauhaus-style?
Im Bauhaus-Stil nicht.
No, it's not Bauhaus style. It's contemporary and was designed by Berlin architect Heike Haneder. But it is a cube. And that immediately makes you think of the Bauhaus, with flat roofs and things like that. It has connections to the Bauhaus. Heike Haneder is a real fan of Mies van der Rohe, and her architecture can't hide that.
The museum will open in April 2019 for the 100th anniversary of Bauhaus. It takes a lot of imagination to picture the bright showrooms that will be here. For the first time, there will be enough space to present the treasures of the Weimar Bauhaus collection to a wide audience. Are there any highlights?
Of course there are highlights. We know that many visitors are especially interested in Bauhaus artists. We have outstanding paintings by Lionel Feininger, a wonderful painting by Klee. They'll be exhibited down here in this area.
For now, the treasures are kept away from the public, safely guarded in a warehouse. But I can already admire some of the objects. Why do you need gloves to handle the lamp?
Mit Samthandschuhen angefasst.
Ja, das ist eine Lampe von 1924.
This lamp dates back to 1924. It's by Wilhelm Wagenfeld, and although it might look quite robust, it was made by hand. You can also see that up here the glass has a crack. Although there are reproductions of the lamp on sale in every design shop, these first prototypes are very fragile.
These figures look a bit more robust.
These are puppets by Eberhard Schrammen. He visited a woodturner's workshop here in Weimar and was inspired to create these completely new kinds of figures.
So what are they for? It's a puppet, so you put it on your hand and do a show for kids?
Exactly. The idea was to play with or for children.
My last stop in Weimar is the Ilmschlösschen. In this restaurant, people from the Bauhaus had wild parties, students and masters together. And there were legendary costume parties. The Bauhaus students could eat in the restaurant for relatively little money, and they love to come here, even though the decor is anything but Bauhaus. 100 years of Bauhaus, 2019 is its anniversary. Work is being carried out everywhere to get things ready. I was surprised how many traces I found anyway. If you're also interested in the early years of the Bauhaus, you should visit Weimar next year. Now it's time for me to check out the local cuisine in the Ilmschlösschen. Bye bye, see you next time.